Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm here with Rafia Cooper.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Hope everyone's doing well today. Hi, Heather. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Another beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
Right? I just came from
Yes.
Manhattan Beach. It was a gorgeous day out.
Oh, nice. I'm here at my office in Playa Vista, and it's beautiful outside.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I am here again today to facilitate asking some questions that have been emailed and sent to Heather. And that is my purpose. So, Heather, are you ready for some questions?
I am. First, thank you everyone who sent the questions. This is really great, and it really helps facilitate these conversations that we're having. And as you all know, these are really important questions too. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Me too. Me too. I think that this is a good platform, and it allows everyone to engage with you, and
Yeah,
that can't be bad as long as you can answer some of these questions and comments that they have. It's all good, right? So we
absolutely.
encourage all of you to do that. Please
Yeah,
leave
you
your
can leave
comments.
comments in the chat and we'll answer those as well. So don't worry if you didn't submit a question ahead of time.
Perfect. So I've got already one that says, "Hi, Heather and Rafia," from Maria. So hi, Maria. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. We are
Fine. Yeah.
enjoying Culver City. So Heather,
Yeah.
first question that I have for you is, why do you believe local residents are taxed so much for living and doing business in Culver City?
You know, I'm not sure why we're doing that to ourselves. We seem so keen to tax ourselves, and we have good intentions usually when we pass the taxes. So there's a parcel tax for the schools. We want to support our schools. Great. We said we're going to increase our sales tax to help fund our basic services like police and the fire department and our parks and everything like that. Okay, fine. But we keep doing it, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's like no money is ever enough in this city, and while I get it to some degree, I'm really not sure why we can't just balance the budget with what we have. I keep saying it. I think we should just take everything back to basics and build from there with what the money allows us to do. Ensuring that our residents have basic services is the job of the city. So I think that scaling it back and starting there at that point and building from there is what we need to do.
Do you
So
think that our residents is mostly, I wouldn't say everybody, but would you say mostly are tired of taxes?
I think most people are. I
Okay.
definitely think they are. I think that every time the city's short on money, we tend to tax our
Mm-hmm.
homeowners first. The only way we tend to tax everyone else is through our business taxes and through our sales tax. Um, and as you know, our businesses are struggling right now. So I do not think increasing business taxes right now is the way to go.
No, it's definitely not the
Yeah,
way to go
they
because
need our help.
they need our help. Yes.
Taxing them extra is not help.
So Candance has joined us and she says, "Hello, ladies." Hi,
Hi, Candace.
Candance. So let's see. My next question, we'll stay with this a little bit. So Candance is asking, why does the sales tax remain and it never goes down? Well, that's a good question.
It is. Candace,
Has
there
there
is
ever
a
been?
sunset. There is a sunset on the sales tax.
Okay.
But we just passed measure, I think it was called CC, if I'm not mistaken, in the last election, and that one increased it again, but an additional quarter percent, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it most for two reasons. Number one, we needed the money, but number two, the county had the option to take that extra percentage. So we
Mm-hmm.
said, if we don't take it, the county can. Let's just make sure all the money stays here. So in that way, it kind of made sense. But
Okay.
we do have the highest sales tax in California.
But you've never seen it go back. Like I think if
No.
I'm understanding Candace,
Yeah.
I've never seen it go back to
No.
a lower tax or
We
anything.
keep extending it. That's the truth. Every time it goes to sunset, we pass it again.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
We keep
I've
taxing
never seen
ourselves.
it.
So, and now we're set to tax ourselves, to have the highest transfer tax in California as well.
Mhm.
I don't know that this is what we want to be known for, but right now,
That's what it is.
we are the highest taxed city in California. So it's kind of crazy, Candace. I totally agree.
So, and she's got a follow up to that, and she says, yes, the 0.25% remains and never goes down.
Yeah.
And then, so it's a very interesting topic. We could probably talk about it for a long time. There are states in the United States that don't have any sales taxes.
I know.
And you can, certainly have fun shopping and buying things because you don't have that extra 10%, right?
Exactly.
The automatic 10% discount.
Exactly.
All right. Your next question came in from an email, and it says, what are your thoughts on the proposed transfer tax that is sure to hurt homeowners when they sell their property? So this is a tax that is only going to be in effect when you actually sell your property. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct. So if there's an extra tax, we currently sit at 0.45%, which is high already. I won't say it's higher than anyone else or lower than anyone else. It's pretty average, but it's still a little high. And with this new proposed Measure RE, which is on the November ballot, we will become the highest transfer tax in the state.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy, and it's tiered based on how much your home or your business property, whatever property you're selling, it's based on how much it's selling for. So 1.5 million and under, I believe, is the first bracket. And I'm not quite sure on the other brackets that are there, the exact monetary breakdown, but I do know that's the first tier. So
is this tax, I'm asking my own follow-up questions to this.
That's okay.
But is this tax something that is going to be based on how much the property is, and is it going to be shared by the buyer and the seller, or is it just going to be on the seller?
That depends. So if you can get a buyer that's willing to share it with you, it can be shared, but otherwise it's completely on you. So I believe that's something that you can negotiate when you're selling your house. So whatever realtor you're working with, be sure and ask them. And I'm sure they will be able to guide you. And that's only if this measure passes. So vote.
Vote no on this.
Everyone.
Right?
Please,
you want people to vote no.
Vote no. Vote no. The other problem with it was, as many people don't know, is this went to council without first going through the Financial Advisory Committee. The Financial Advisory Committee had to call an emergency meeting, and this whole measure and everything about it was done in a week. 1 week.
Wow.
So the amount of community input and everything else was so low.
Okay.
So
it sounds like we need to act on it.
Yes, and if it's something that needs to come back, let's give it the proper treatment. Let's make sure everyone gets a say in it. Let's make sure everyone knows about it, and put it back on after we've been able to thoroughly research and reach out to everyone.
Okay, so for all of you who are watching, if you have any more comments or concerns, please ask Heather about this. And she has stated her opinion of what she would like to see happen here. And please contact her if you need to. All right, the next question. I think Maria is saying, as residents, can we have access to more transparency?
Absolutely. I don't think there's such thing as too much transparency, Maria. I've said it before. I think that the budget process really, people who aren't super financially aware or don't have the knowledge or feel like they don't have the knowledge. I feel like they don't feel included. So I would really like to see the budget broken down, very plain, very simple. I'd like to see us have community input and community meetings on it and make sure that everyone is aware and everyone is involved in the budget process. I think that's a really, really crucial step for our budget.
Okay. All right. And then I read some of Candance's thing, and then there's a comment from Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Thank you for watching. Vicky says, but as a city council person, what can you do if the voters say yes on the transfer tax?
You know, Vicky, if the voters say yes on the transfer tax, then hopefully I'm on council and the other council members, maybe we research how to come up with another ballot measure to remove it or something like that. I don't have an exact answer for you, but I'm really hoping that we can educate voters and not have to deal with it on the back end anyway. But if the voters want it and the voters pass it, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that a lot of people are being misled about what this is going to do and who it's going to affect. So voter outreach on this issue is very, very crucial. And I'm really hoping that the voters will see through this. And if they want a measure like this, let's do that. But let's do it in a way where everyone can be involved and the process can go forward with everyone's input being taken into account.
Okay. All right. So vote no on Measure RE. And if you have any more questions, please ask Heather. So I'm going to read you some more email questions, and I'm going to pause the comments for a minute. So the next question was, how do you feel about the post office project? Keeping in mind state law and that allows developers to build bigger projects. If there are low-income units, what would you do as a city council member on this issue?
You know, I've heard a lot about that project. I don't think it's a good spot for a project that large. I think it's going to change the landscape of the community around it. Anybody who goes through that area, so we're talking about, for those of you who are like, which post office? It's the post office there on the corner of, what is that?
Sepulveda and Jefferson.
Yeah, it's where it splits, but it's off of Sepulveda and Machado.
Mm-hmm.
So in that little triangle where the Coco's and I think it's an Easy Lube or something like that, and the post office sits, that land has been sold, and they're talking about developing a large multi-use property that has retail on the bottom and shops up top. And then I heard that they're also trying to put a park in there. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do that, where this is all going to fit. I'm looking forward to seeing their proposal, but I've heard a lot of outreach from the residents there. They're really unhappy. Like I said, it's not a good fit as far as what I could do as a council person. You know, with the state saying that they can build it very large if they have low income units. You know, I'm not quite sure, but I would not be in favor of any project that large in that spot. I think it's a mistake. There's traffic. You know, I live in a large apartment complex, and I can't imagine one being that large being right there. I know Vicki just said it's 230 apartment units. And it's very, very large. So if you can imagine 230 units, I mean, they're going to have to go up,
Right.
up. And traffic and everything else that will be impacted. I'd like to see how it's going to impact the schools. That's something that I try to ask every developer that tries to build mixed-use buildings like this in that area. You have El Marino there, you have El Rincon there. Obviously, the city needs more affordable housing, but we need to do it properly and in such a way that it's not going to make life harder on everyone. The other thing is with that retail space, it's going to be very expensive to rent out. And I would like to see what our retail needs really are after COVID is done.
Well, not only that, but what are our housing needs after the virus? Because from what I'm hearing from several realtor friends and things, that there's a lot of vacancies in apartment buildings and even in home rentals.
Yeah,
And
I've noticed in our complex, there's a lot of empty units right now. And I know I was reading an article the other day, I believe it was the LA Times, and vacancies are up 15 to 20%. That's a very large percentage of vacancies.
So with that in mind, do we really need more housing?
That's the question. And I think that we need to let the dust settle from COVID before moving forward on projects like this and really take into account what our city needs versus what the effects are.
Okay. I think that's a great answer for your viewer who asked that question. Let's see. Next question is, would you be open to adding an additional clinical psychologist and 2 more officers to the CCPD's homeless outreach program? They have 2 officers and 1 psychologist at this time.
Absolutely, 100%. I think that's definitely the way to go. The current psychologist, Dr. Dan, is wonderful, but we only have him for a certain amount of time, and he is a wonderful asset to our police officers. As far as 2 additional police officers also, I think that's a great idea. If you haven't heard it from me before, on any given day, a good day, we have about 12 officers out patrolling. So this would take us to 14. But with the increase in homeless and with the mental health being what it is, we really need those assets to go out with our officers. I think it's too dangerous when you're responding to mental health calls, when you're responding to a lot of different types of calls, domestic violence, mental health, all of those can change in the blink of an eye. So I think having an officer present with that person is a wonderful idea. Not only that, but it adds an extra layer of protection for that social worker because the officers do wear body cameras. So the whole interaction is on tape should something go wrong. And I think that's a really valuable asset. I keep saying I don't want to defund our department. I want to add 2. So additional services need to be added. We should not be taking anything away right now.
No, and why do people move to Culver City? Why do people move to our neighborhoods? You know, and it's, time and time again, we hear the same thing. It's because of our schools. It's because of our police and fire.
Exactly. Everyone loves them, and we don't want to see it taken to LAPD levels or to sheriff's department levels. And we definitely don't want to have the sheriffs come in and take the spot of CCPD. They put out a press release the other day. Somebody's home was being broken into. The resident actually chased down and caught the person, but the police response time was under a minute.
Right?
Where else are you going to get that kind of response time? It's fantastic. So additional services are the way to go.
And you don't know if that person was armed, that could have saved the homeowner's life, saved their family's lives. A lot of different things could have happened and so much could have gone wrong with that. So that's an amazing response time. And this question's from another person who is, I don't know about this incident, but apparently there was a stabbing incident at the DoubleTree.
Yes, right down the street. So the DoubleTree over there on, I think it's still
Centinela.
Yeah. So they just released the video also, and it's very graphic. And it shows the guy was arguing with somebody, and he takes out a knife and starts stabbing this person. We've seen a lot.
Apparently repeatedly.
Yeah, it just, goes to town. It's a very violent video. You've gotta have a decent stomach to watch. but they are looking for information. So if you watch the video, at least, or don't want to watch the video, at least watch it up to the point where they show the picture and try to help them find the person. But we've seen a lot of uptick in violent crimes lately. And I don't know if it's because people are desperate due to COVID. I don't know if people are bored at home or what's going on. But we simply can't afford to lose any of our officers right now. They're doing what they can to help the public, and with the uptick in crime, people are they're not using their whole, I guess, cognitive functions to think about this. When you talk about taking away officers, when we all talk about it, it's not just us listening, us people who follow the law. It's also the criminals who are listening.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're all very mistaken if we think that criminals aren't listening and finding out what cities are doing what,
Mm-hmm.
and which cities are going to be easier to target. So,
and that's what this viewer's email question was, with that stabbing in mind, how can you justify defunding the police when there is, violent crimes like this, and we need our police to respond quickly and get there to help, right away.
you just can't. That's the real answer is you can't. It's irresponsible. I keep saying it, and I'll shout it from every rooftop if I have to. It's irresponsible to defund, by this 50%. I know the Financial Advisory Committee is actually meeting about defunding our police department tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that everyone will tune into that meeting and let your voices be heard. We can't afford it. It's irresponsible. Don't let them do it.
Exactly. We don't want that to happen. Okay, I'm going to read a comment over here because it has to do with some of the questions we've just been answering. Sure. So Al Casillas is saying CCPD has 2 social workers assigned to the department back in the late 90s. We should bring them back.
We should bring back more than that, Al. I don't think it hurts us to have more social workers right now. We obviously need them, and staff them to the appropriate levels. I mean, that's all I can say.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So that brings me, there's another question, I believe, from Jody Shays. She says, I'm excited for some young perspective on our lovely community. You are a very good listener, Heather, and I look forward to watching your progress. Well, that was more of a comment than a question.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Jody.
Thank you, Jody.
I don't think age should matter, but I do bring, with being younger, I do bring some good perspective, and I hope that I can use it to provide the council with some fresh views, fresh opinions, and really, get them to start going back to basics and doing things like listening to our residents and letting everyone's voice be heard. I think it's really important, and I'm starting to see them catch on. I did catch some comments at the last meeting where they were saying they're listening and doing things, and then they voted a different way where it showed that they didn't listen. But I am trying to listen to everyone. I think it's really important to take notes from every side, every angle, if you're going to really understand an issue. So that is my goal.
Wonderful. Yeah. And then you have another comment. Maria says, my Citizens app has gone off today at least 4 times. Yes, mine too.
Every day, Maria, every day.
See, Al says, love you, Heather. You're great.
Oh, thank you.
Vicky says, how would you pay for the social workers?
Thanks, Vicky. That's a really great question. I would love to see us ask the county for some money for this. They are supposed to be helping us. They are supposed to be doing this homeless outreach. We've gotten, I think, $50,000 from the additional tax that was passed in the last election. And I think that demanding the county's assistance and telling them what we need rather than them telling us what they're going to give us is the place to start. So I'd like to see us start there with it being from the county.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you're getting a lot of hearts, which is great.
Oh,
You
good.
guys keep
Good.
your hearts coming. Love them. We love them. Okay, we have one from James Harold. He's saying, awesome job, Heather. Looking forward to you being on City Council.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
James. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.
Erica is saying, rooting for you, Heather. You'd be an amazing council member.
Thank you, Erica.
I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but Sakuro, not on defund our CCPD. The crime is getting worse. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's completely irresponsible. I've seen other candidates. I've been saying it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. I don't care how many times I have to say it. You guys are going to get so bored of me saying it. I will keep saying it. And I've seen some other council candidates starting to back off when they're wanting to defund 50%. So keep at it, you guys. I know a lot of you feel the same way. Let your voice be heard. Keep saying it. I'm going to do it. It's right there with you. So keep it going. Keep it going.
Perfect. So let's see. Another question that was sent in says, from what you know, where are our tax dollars going? That's an interesting question.
That is a very interesting question, especially right now with the proposed increased transfer tax. Again, it's for basic services. It's the same reason we passed the additional sales tax. You can say it's not enough, but I happen to know at the council meeting when they were reviewing the sales tax numbers, it was higher than they expected. So I'm not sure. We have a lot of money that's going into different programs like the Coyote study, the rent control, which is probably going to be voted in permanently. They read the first read through this last week. There's a lot of money that we could be saving right now that we're not. So it's going to take somebody that has the ability to say no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really one of those things, I keep saying, let's go back to basics. Are the residents' basic needs provided for? As soon as that's done, okay, what do we have money for? What can we add on? And it may be a rough couple of years until we get through all of this, but it's absolutely necessary. We can't keep just paying money. We also have huge unfunded pensions. That's something I'm looking to examine when elected, and the options that we have there. So there's a lot of different things that we can look into and we can do.
You've got another comment that says, Coyote study, can you please expand?
So we are paying over $200,000, I believe it was, for, I think it's LMU, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be. So I'll get back to you on exactly who it is, but they are researching the coyotes. We haven't heard too much about them lately, the coyotes. Basically, they were doing a urban wildlife study. They've got cameras placed to monitor and track the coyotes. While I understand people were losing pets and they were upset, I think it's going to say the same thing that we all keep saying. It's urban wildlife. They live here too. They live in the hills. I used to see them all the time at West LA College. So they're here. I remember when I was a kid, the Crest had a real bad problem with the coyotes, and the solution was to remove the food source. And after they removed the food source by keeping pets indoors, keeping pet food indoors, the coyotes went about their business. If there's no food, they don't want to be here. There's nothing for them. So I think it's frivolous. I don't think we needed it. But, I can't change what they've spent already, unfortunately. So.
Right. But thank you for expanding on that.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have any more questions? Did I miss something? Yes. Al says yes, LMU, and it was $250,000. Marta says, how can council stop developers from developing on Machado Road where old post office is? And then how do you feel about affordable housing?
So I'll attack the second question first. Affordable housing, we need it. It's undeniable. You know, we really need it, but we keep building these new modern monstrosities, and they have a certain number of affordable units, but not nearly enough. And the rest of the units are really, really expensive. We need to figure out how we can add more affordable housing to our city's plan without impacting the corners like Machado, where the old post office is. So it's great that they want to build 230 apartments. I said it before, it doesn't belong there. That's not a good spot for it. How can we stop it? I'm not sure. I would not be in favor of it, and I would make that quite well known. I know before developers have presented plans, and there's been so much community backlash, they have withdrawn those plans. I'm really hoping that happens again. I'm not sure that it will, but I would not be voting in favor of any of that. So I'm hoping we can get enough people in council to prevent things like that from happening.
Heather, do you know how many out of the 230, how many would be allocated for affordable housing?
I do not know, but they're about to present another plan, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that was
actually telling everyone. So October 6th, yes, is the Zoom community meeting about that post office project.
Okay, and then Vicki says October 6th, there is a Zoom community meeting about that post office project. It is ready to go out for environmental impact report.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Vicki, for being on, because I don't have it in front of me, and there's so many different numbers thrown around, but 19 of those 230 units.
Yeah. Affordable. 19 of the 230.
230.
Wow.
So
that's
when you're talking about affordable housing, I mean, that's not affordable. Only 19 units. If all 230 units were affordable housing, it'd be a step in the right direction, but nobody's going to do that. So
I don't think anyone can afford to build then.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
So Marta says we have housing all around our borders.
Absolutely.
That's very true. Very, very true. So, I mean, I think, all in all, this discussion kind of led to more of the housing. But we had some great, great questions. And I think it's time to go.
I know these are so short, you guys, but I try to answer as many questions as possible. Please email me. Email me, Heather for culvercitycouncil@gmail.com. You can go to my website and submit questions. You can comment on here. I read them all even after. You can inbox me. I mean, there's a billion different ways. There's a phone number on my Facebook page. You can get a hold of me. I'm happy to answer any questions. And
we'll answer them here next Wednesday also. Yeah. So if you have questions that you want to submit, I will ask them of Heather next week. Okay. And any last comments or things that you want to? I think all the comments I read pretty much over here.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Like I said, please continue to comment. I will read them all after, and maybe I'll answer your question on the live next week. Yes. On Saturday, I'll have my Small Business Saturday, and I have a really fun one coming up. So stay tuned to my Facebook page. We'll be promoting that very shortly.
Can't wait. That's going to be exciting. Absolutely. And Heather for City Council is your website. Yes. So they can go find you there.
Down below. It's right there.
Right there. Exactly. It's on there. It's the link. Thank you everyone who joined us today for her question and answers and comments. We appreciate you. Thank you, Heather, for having me come on.
Yes. Thank you, Rafia, for reading questions. Thank you everyone for participating.
I have an easy job.
All right, everyone. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you all on Saturday.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.